I don't think a lot of people know how the Super Bowl week kind of works. You know, Monday, Tuesday, after you win the conference title game, the early part of the week is tickets and logistics and take care of the families, how you'll get to and from the Bay Area. But actually, a lot of the heavy lifting of the game plan and install and practices happen at the team facilities before they go to California. Look, you guys have been in championship weeks. You're being pulled in a bunch of different directions. There's so many distractions. What are the ways to lock in? What advice would you give guys who realistically, look, they're excited, they want to experience things, but as our friend Mike Tomlin would say, how do you still make the main thing the main thing? Doug?
I think the number one thing is this week, get all your prep done. This is the week you work your ass off. This is the week you're living at the facility 24/7 and you're watching extra film and you're game planning. And that is all etched in stone before you get on the plane to get to San Francisco. So the work is done. Now, San Francisco week, when you're on the practice field and meetings, it's just rehashing stuff and reinforcing it and getting ready for the game. So you can enjoy the atmosphere a little bit. I liked staying in my bubble. I didn't want the outside distractions. I think, Grey Cup weeks for us, by the third time I was doing it, I was relaxed enough that I knew, I was confident in what we were doing and all that. And I could go to the receptions or do this or do that. But in fact, we played up in my third Grey Cup. We played up in Edmonton against Saskatchewan. The night before Grey Cup, we had one last meeting. After the meeting, I ran over to the other hotel. My brother Darren and I have a band. We played a gig that night for an hour at some reception. I turned around and went back and I had Don Matthews as a head coach. So Don
was probably there drinking with you.
Don's like, can I sing for you? Can I come over? Yeah, that was my brother's doing, but it was fun. It's fun to be able to tell the story that I actually did that the night before Grey Cup.
Well, Milton, how about you?
As you mentioned, they're getting the work in this week. So because the coaches know when the players get to the site of the Super Bowl, they want to enjoy themselves, and you can't expect anything else. You want them to enjoy themselves early in the week, but like maybe come Thursday, it's time to shut it down. It's time to get that tunnel vision because we're here for a reason. You won't remember the good time you had early in the week. You'll remember if you lose that game, and you'll remember if you win that game. That's all you need to focus on. So early in the week, let the guys enjoy themselves. Not too much. Let's be smart about it. Let's realize this is still a business trip. But come Thursday, we're locked in, baby. It's tunnel vision. It's time to go out there and do what we came to do because you don't know when and if this opportunity is ever going to present itself again.
The weird thing, too, about Super Bowl Sunday, and we can get into this next week, is just how long it takes to get things going. Like at least this is going to be out on the West Coast, so it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Waiting around till 6 o'clock, you got to get there so early because of security and this and that. Guys are just chomping at the bit to play.
The worst part, one of the worst parts of these big games for a player is you go out for pregame, warm up, and go in and sit in the locker room for 45 minutes to an hour before you come back.
You tighten up again.
Because you got all these presentation going, all this hoopla going on in the field, and then you got, the Easter Bunnies playing halftime, and I don't know, it's going to be an hour and a half long, and you're hanging out at halftime. It's like, you got to warm back up. It's a 6-hour game. That's the stuff that drove me nuts. The biggest game of the year, and everything you've done all year long has changed.
First world problems, Mr. Flutie.
But one quick question. When people say, I can't stand when they say this, where it's just another game, it's not another game. That's the worst mindset to have. You can't just say this is another game because it's not. It's the biggest game of your life. It could change your life forever. It does so many things for you financially. You can monetize it in a great way. So it's not another game. The losers compared to the winners, totally different.
I just remember that I'd like to get comfortable in a game and give me a couple completions and let's get rolling. Maybe let me run with the ball early on to get the nerves out, stuff like that. Tom Brady comes out first play, Super Bowl, drop back pass, throws an 18-yard comeback to the wide side of the field as is the most difficult throw in football. First throw of the game. It's like, okay, There's just certain guys are made a certain way where they're just ready to go.
These two guys have gone head-to-head all season. Doug wins the regular season head-to-head. Milt the playoffs by virtue of Seattle knocking off the Rams. The Super Bowl will decide once and for all who our overall champ is. But look, on the bye week, there are a million props that are involved with the Super Bowl. I mean, we can talk about the color of the Gatorade that the coach is going to get splashed with. We can get into how long the timing of the national anthem is and the rest. Let's get some actual football picks on some props that are some easy ones. First quarterback to throw a touchdown pass in Super Bowl 60. Doug Flutie will be who?
Sam Darnold. I think Sam comes out slinging. I think Drake will play a little conservative early in the game.
Milt?
I'm going with Drake May. I'm going with Drake May to Stephon B, Cardi B's significant other. That's who I'm going with, baby.
No, it'll be Sam Darnold throwing a pick six. That'll be the first touchdown pass.
I saw somewhere Christian Gonzalez 200-1 to win Super Bowl MVP. I'm like, not bad.
What?
Yeah, not bad value there.
Wow.
Not bad value there.
Wow.
First quarterback to throw an interception in this game. Milt will be who?
It'll also be Drake May. I think it'll be Drake May. Yeah, he'll throw the first touchdown, but he'll also throw the first interception. I'm calling it.
I keep waiting for Sam to start turning the ball over. It's not
going to happen, baby. It's not going to happen, baby. No.
I'll go.
Go ahead. Pick it, Doug.
Drake too. I'll go with you on Drake.
We have the two best defenses in football. Which team will have the most sacks on Super Bowl Sunday? New England or Seattle? Doug?
I say Seattle because Drake holds the ball a little bit more than Sam, and Sam's a little more agile and gets it out quick.
Yeah, I'll agree with Doug and say Seattle, but I'm going to say it's going to come from some defensive backs or some linebackers. It may not be the defensive line. They're going to change things up schematically and put some pressure on May and see if he can handle some zone blitzes or some defensive back blitzes.
So we got our props in for Flutie versus Stegall, and we are counting down to Super Bowl 60. The Patriots and the Seahawks will get after it. We will break down the matchup. We'll have more for you next week as we get ready for things in Santa Clara. Guys, I'll be honest, I can't wait. Like this bye week's driving me nuts. I can't wait for this football game. I think we have a real good football game in store.
I think it's going to be – the New England Patriots want this to be an uglier game. Seattle would like it to be a pretty game, slinging it around and up and down the field. So if the New England defense can find a way to make Sam Darnold a little uncomfortable early, then they'll have a chance. Otherwise, Milt Seahawks are in pretty good shape.
The thing I'm excited about, I'm sure we'll talk about this next week, is there's so many great storylines. So many great storylines within this game. Talk about Sam Darnold, finally getting an opportunity. You talk about Drake May on his second year being one of the youngest quarterbacks to ever play in the Super Bowl, and Vrabel and all these great storylines. I'm excited to talk about all of those.
I'm really excited about Malcolm Butler re-signing and coming back for Super Bowl.
They're only going to use him in the fourth quarter, Doug, and only in a goal line. Absolutely. We will get you ready for Super Bowl 60 next week here on Flutie versus Stegall. We thank all of you. Doug, before we go.
One Malcolm Butler story. I don't know if we can weave this in or not. Spokesperson for a bank in New England. We did this thing, community quarterback. We throw out footballs to the people that are raising money for charity, all the organizations, 1, 2, 3. So the head of Eastern Bank tells Doug, start out, throw to me up on the balcony to start this thing off. Take out the first ball, throw him to him. Malcolm Butler steps out from behind the curtain and intercepts it. It was the year after the Super Bowl that they made.
Right. Yeah.
Outstanding. Undrafted out of West Alabama, picking off Russell Wilson and Doug Flutie within a year of one another. We thank all of you for making this one of North America's fastest growing football podcasts. For Doug Flutie and Milt Stegall, I'm Arash Madani. We'll see you next week to tee up Super Bowl 60.